From a possible flesh pedestrian to being stuck in a loop on a highway, here's the weird stuff that you missed last week on my TikTok. What's up, glitches, and welcome back to Spooky Story Time. If you're new here, my name is Jess. People call me Auntie Matrix, and I read your weird and unexplainable stories. All the stories that we read here are true stories that real people send in. So if you're into stuff like glitches in the Matrix, the paranormal, dreams, and aliens, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a video. Also, make sure to check out my Auntie Matrix merch and all of my other links over at TcV&x.com. The link is down in the description. All the stories that you are about to see were posted last week over on my TikTok, and I've put together a little compilation for you. If you're looking to skip to a specific story, the timestamps are in the description as well. Grab your favorite snack, a comfort item to squeeze, and let's get weird. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 203. I disappeared in my own yard. Hi. I grew up living down a gravel road in rural mid-Missouri on an acre of land. I don't remember a lot of my life before the age of 10. What happened to me when I was 7 years old is something that I'll never forget. It's just as vivid as the day it happened. From a very young age, my mom knew I was a responsible kid. I was usually allowed to play outside alone. The only rule was that I had to stay close to the perimeter of the house. If I could clearly see the window, then my mom could look out and see me to keep an eye out. I was a tomboy and I loved looking for worms and roly-poly. Me too, still do. We had an old rotting railroad tie laying on the side of the house that was previously used to fence off some rose bushes. I started rocking the railroad tie back and forth to see if I could prop it up and find some bug. I remember it being a very sunny day. As I'm looking under this tie, I noticed the ground around me become abnormally brighter out of nowhere. It was blinding. I slowly looked up at this extreme bright light is shining right at me. It wasn't the sun. I started feeling like I was floating, lightheaded and woozy, like I was on a roller coaster. The last thing I remember was seeing the ground from way up high. All of a sudden, I'm back on the ground on my knees, holding the old railroad tie up again. It felt like I had just woken up from a dream. The whole experience felt like a few seconds. I hear my mom screaming my name angrily from the front door. I walk around the corner of the house and my mom is hysterical at this point. My brother came running from the backyard yelling to my mom, "Did you find her? Did you find her?" My mom and brother had been looking for me outside for over an hour. They had walked past that railroad tie several times and they swear I wasn't there. I never got to talk to my mom about what happened because at the time she was so mad and scared. I sit and think about what happened to me that day all the time. My brain can't come to terms with the fact that I'll never know. You never told your mom? Not even like now? First I was gonna say like, okay, maybe it was like heat exhaustion and you were like passed out for some reason for a second. But if that happened and then your mom and brother couldn't find you for an hour, oh my God, I think you got abducted. You saw a bright fucking light and then you don't remember anything and then you were back. I think you got abducted. That's my take. What do you guys think? Creepy TikToks my moderator Jen has sent me to look at.
Menu Gate, have you heard of that?
Menu Gate?
This is weird. This man, his name is Cody, lives in Atlanta. He walked out of his apartment and noticed every single door in his hallway had a Chinese menu. 3 days later, it's still there. And he's like, everyone in my hall has not opened their door. And then 5 days, still there. So he went down to the parking garage and looked at the cars, covered in dust. And he's like, that's weird. And then he's like, okay, this is like freaking me out a little bit. Went through his whole apartment building, couldn't find a fire alarm. Finally, like, found one. He's like, I need to know. Pulls it. There's supposed to be 800 people living in this apartment building. No one came out.
He had previously checked. He'd gone outside at night, and there were lights on.
Yeah.
Like, something's going on.
He went out into his local nook where his apartment was. Every, like, coffee shop and place that he went to, there was always one man in there wearing a suit, talking on the phone. He said these men were all saying the same thing into the phone. And he's just like, am I living in a simulation? What is this?
Yes! Oh my God, I've seen this guy. You guys have sent me like so many videos of this Menu Gate guy. And I haven't watched all of the videos, but I do know about him and I know the gist. I know pretty much like what that video just was talking about. And it's crazy. Like what my question is, clearly they're making it seem like a bunch of people live in this building when they don't, right? But why? My question is, but why? And that makes me think it's some sort of front for something weird or supernatural happening. I'm watching too much Supernatural. But then why allow this one guy to live there? maybe he's special? Maybe like something with him? Maybe there's something with him. Maybe they need him in some way? I don't know. On to the next video.
Everybody listen up. You need to get in your seats right now. Hey, you kids, step forward, please. Facing forward. Thank you. That's what I like. Whoa. 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 Everybody hang on. Oh. Is everybody okay?
Did you notice all the kids disappeared, and immediately when they disappeared, it was like there was like almost a huge accident? Did they disappear so that they wouldn't get in the accident? No, but he didn't actually get in the accident. Did they disappear and them disappearing caused the accident? Where did they go? When did they come back? Like, what the fuck?
We're frozen here. Because that doesn't sound like coyotes. They got something. Are they getting closer, Joy? No? A biker just went that way, and the sound got worse.
Oh my god. Okay, in the beginning, they said, like, it's not wolves or coyotes or whatever, and in the beginning, it kind of sounded like maybe they could be, but then, at the end, when it was like that noise, and it sounded like it was, like, echoey, and, like, there were it sounded like a lot of layers of the sound. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because I know what I'm trying to say. Oh, that is not a coyote. What do you think that was? Was that some sort of like Bigfoot creature or something? Or a werewolf maybe? Or something? Oh my god, and they said a biker went that way, and then that's when it got worse? Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 204, going back into the past. I was about 30 and had only lived in my state for about a year. I worked nights and started going to a massage school during the day, so yes, I was always very tired. The new school was in an old house, but I didn't know any history of the house or the previous owners. One day we were doing energy work and it was my turn to get worked on. I laid down and the girl laid her hands on me. I was very quickly out in a deep sleep. In my dream, I was standing in a main room of the house, but the house looked a bit different. I looked to my right and there was one or more, I don't remember, German shepherds jumping and barking from outside into the window. I leaned forward and I saw a man walking into one of the rooms of the house and realized the dog was barking at the man. There was a black cat, however, who did seem to know I was there and staring at me. After that, I woke up, figured I had a strange dream, and thought nothing more of it. A few days later, I was in a class in the room that the man had walked into. The teacher randomly mentioned that we were in what had been the master bedroom and talked briefly of the owner. I then described the man I saw and asked if that was him. The teacher said yes. Why? I mentioned that I saw him in my dream. The next day, the school secretary came and got me and asked about my dream. I stood in the place I had in the dream and I told her what I saw. I also told her how the house looked different and about the dog. She told me I described how the house looked before it was remodeled years before. The man was a lawyer who always wore suits, as I saw in my dream, and yes, he had German shepherds. I asked about a black cat, but she said she didn't know anything about that. A side note, I love cats and had my own black cat at the time who I still miss terribly. Did I go back in time? Was I the ghost ghost in their lives. I never saw a pic of the man and never could find much info about him, so I don't know how I came up with those details. I knew nothing about him before the dream. Still freaks me out to this day. I don't know what to think. So my immediate thought was that you were like in a astral traveling to a different time of that house. And then when you said, was I the ghost in their lives? That I've had this theory for a while now that maybe ghosts that we see or entities that we see are not actually ghosts. They are people that are just in another timeline, and that we're seeing two timelines like bleed together when we're seeing that kind of stuff. And it doesn't seem like there was any reason for maybe a spirit to be showing you the past. Like, I don't know, sometimes they need you to help them with something or finish something or give a message to someone, but that doesn't seem the case. So my best guess is that you just kind of like astral traveled to another time. What kind of energy work were you doing? That's my question. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 205. Flesh pedestrian, maybe? Hello, Auntie. Hi! I have so many stories to share, but this one I really need answers to, and I would like to share with the public. Here we go. When I was 16, an old boyfriend, myself, and a few other buddies went coon hunting. I'm from the South, and that's a typical thing around here in Tennessee. What we thought was a normal night of hunting, the boyfriend and I found it to be different. As we were walking our normal trails, our dogs got away from us so far off we could no longer hear them. We began going off trails in search for them. It probably was 1 a.m. We was getting tired and we were ready to just go back home and search for them during the daylight. As we made it back to our normal trails, we heard what was an ungodly scream. I immediately grabbed my weapon. The boyfriend grabbed me, pulling out his weapon. We stood back to back, both with fear. The scream continued and kept getting louder. We both froze, and then he said, "Don't say a thing. Don't ask if they need help." We walked out of the trail back to back silently and found our other buddies. I was still in silence from the screams we heard, trying to figure out what was happening. The boyfriend told our buddies to be quiet and get in the fucking truck, and then we hauled ass back down the mountains. While explaining what we had heard to our friends, they all thought that we were crazy and it was probably just a bobcat. We then arrived back at his house and was explaining to his mom what we encountered. She then says, "You came across a flesh pedestrian." I don't like to say that word. As I puzzled, not knowing anything about them, this was in 2010, I asked her what they were and she explained everything to me. I thought that she was crazy, but as the internet began to grow, I now look back on it. After seeing many videos of S-walkers, I do believe that's what we had encountered that night. It is a scream that I will never forget, and it is still today a scream that I look out for. It's something I will never forget. The scream was dark. It sounded helpless and almost in a woman's tone. Very smart on your boyfriend to say not to answer it. Don't try to help it, just to ignore it and go. If you heard something, no, you didn't. We got an update on the dogs. I'm in the call with Uncle Matrix.
Hi, guys.
Okay, so this person emailed me because they want to remain anonymous just in general, so they didn't want to comment on the actual video. So they sent an email, what happened with the dog. They said they went back the next morning, they searched in daylight for 3 hours, and they did find the dogs and bring them home. They were safe, no harm was done to the dog. The dogs are okay! Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 206. The Bonnet Lady. Hey, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I love your videos. I love you! The story is kind of long, so bear with me. This story is by far the most unexplainable thing I have ever experienced. I honestly find the story so cool to have been able to see what I saw. But anyways, let's get started. The setting is at my childhood home in a hallway. Oh my god, I read that wrong. I was reading that like your childhood home was a hallway. Never mind. You were in a hallway in your childhood home. Okay, I got it. There was a doorway to enter the hallway. Directly in front of that is a bathroom. To the left of the bathroom is a linen closet, and on each side of the hallway is a bedroom. I was playing hide and seek. I was playing hide and seek with two of my friends, Lily and Jacob. I was it for this round, and they hid. I count and end up checking the linen closet right away, as it is big enough for one person to fit if they crouch. No one was in there, but as I got to close the door, I noticed a very faint lady in the bathroom. It was very brief, and I saw her out of the corner of my eye. I noticed her enough to pick up that she was specifically peeking around the door, wearing a bonnet, and in what I assumed was an older type of clothing, I think a dress. I looked directly at her, but she was gone. I thought nothing of it and assumed it was my imagination. Fast forward and I continue to search for my friends and find them in one of the bedrooms. As we are standing in the doorway of that bedroom, Lily falls to the floor freaking out. Jacob and I look at her like she's crazy and she goes, "Do y'all not see that lady?" We think she is messing with us and again ask her what she's talking about, and then she says, "Do you see that lady peeking at me?" I freeze because what are the chances that she says something like that? I am still telling myself that she's messing with us. I tell her to calm down and ask her to describe what she saw. She then starts to describe the lady I saw to a T. She says the lady was peeking from behind the wall of the other bedroom and wearing a bonnet and older style dress. I get chills and my eyes immediately start watering. They start looking at me weird now and I look Lily dead in the eyes and I tell her I saw the same lady in the bathroom. I think Lily knew from my reaction that I was not joking. We all end up going downstairs and tell my mom. She claims to think that it may have been a passer playing hide and seek with us. I honestly believe it could be because not once did I feel threatened, hence why I did not react when I first saw her. I think she may have been a lost spirit trying to find where she needed to go and happened to have some fun playing with us. Either way, I hope whatever she needed, she received it. I never saw her again after that day, but I wish her the best. I sometimes catch myself thinking about her randomly and almost feeling a warm feeling of comfort, and I always wish her well. I just hope she knows. She knows. I also want to add that we were the first family to live in the house and actually bought the house while still under construction in a brand new neighborhood. I did some research about the area as to where my house is, but nothing came up with any form of clues to lead me in any direction. I really just wish I knew who the lady was and what her purpose was for coming through my home. If anyone can give me any kind of information to help me get started, that would be appreciated. First of all, can I just say I love these like auto responses that Gmail is suggesting for me. Beautiful story, and we are excited to see your story unfold. I don't have any suggestions, but I do agree that she was just a spirit passerby. Maybe she was playing with you guys for a minute. It's interesting that your house was a new construction, but that doesn't mean that there wasn't something on the land prior or that something just didn't happen on the land. I'm not really sure, but I'm glad that you weren't threatened by her, and that's really cool. Thank you for sharing. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 207. Stuck in a loop. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I love all of the crazy stories you read, and they honestly help me to not feel crazy. Yes! I've had several very weird things happen to me in my life, but I wanted to tell you about the time I was stuck in a loop. I live in a smallish town about 30 minutes north of Nashville. I work in Franklin, Tennessee, which is about 50 minutes away from home when there's no traffic, and in rush hour, it takes about an hour and 20 minutes to get home. One day in March of this year, I was leaving work, and I called my best friend Mackenzie like I do every day on my way home and started talking to her. It was just our normal banter talking about different aspects of life. There was more traffic than usual and I was frustrated with the way people were driving and commenting on it periodically. I had been on the road for almost an hour and was in standstill traffic, and I looked up at the sign over the road and told Kenz that I was only just now at exit 87, and she told me, "Man, that sucks. I'm sorry." We continued talking and traffic started to thin out. She asked me if I were any closer and I told her yes, I was now passing exit 95 and that traffic was better. For reference, from exit 95, I am only about 20 minutes from home. She started to say what sounded like, "Oh, that's good," but there was suddenly static on the line and I hear a weird, deep voice under the static say, "No further," and then the line went dead. What? That's not creepy. I tried calling her back, but it kept saying call failed. I was focused on calling her back for a minute or two and was not paying attention to where I was at this point. I should have been coming up to exit 98. I gave up on trying to call her back and started looking around and realized it was dark outside. It was very bright 2 minutes earlier, and I saw a road sign that said Rosa L. Parks Boulevard, exit 87. It was then I realized that I was the only vehicle on the road. There were no other cars on either side of the interstate, no cars off the exit or on the bridges. And if you know Nashville, you know that this area is always busy no matter what time. I looked at my actual phone because I had been connected to my car and I was just using the screen to call her previously, and my phone said no service, but the time on the phone was still 4:21 p.m. I was scared, but I was trying to legitimize it by a solar eclipse that I had just missed the news about or something, but something didn't seem right and I was terrified. I tried calling my husband, but again it said call failed. I tried calling Ken's back, but my phone would not connect to any call, so I just decided to focus on getting home. I was coming up on the 24-65 split, and as soon as I went right on 65, I was back at exit 87. Oh no! There were still no cars anywhere. I started speeding. I was going 95 miles an hour because I knew I needed to make it home, and I saw the split coming up again, and I sped up even more thinking, I just have to make it past this point. But once again, as soon as I went right on 65, I was back at exit 87. So I changed my strategy. This is so scary. This time I decided I was going to go left onto 24. Surely that would get me somewhere different, right? So I sped up once again, and when I got to the split, I went left and started going around the curve. I thought for sure I was finally free, but as soon as I got around the curve, I saw Rosa L. Parks Boulevard exit 87. I started crying and I didn't know what to do, so I tried pulling over just because I was crying so hard at this point that I needed to breathe, but I couldn't pull over. My car physically would not stop. I pressed on the brakes 1,000 times and they wouldn't work. So I tried to intentionally wreck. What? I know that sounds crazy, but I was just trying anything to pull me out of this. But my car was not reaching me to jerk the steering wheel or pressing the brakes at all. It was as though it was driving itself. I have so many chills. I started screaming in panic because I just didn't know what to do or if I was ever going to get out of this. At this point, I had to have been on the road for at least 3 hours, and I just kept going either way at the split to end up back at 87 with absolutely no one in sight in a dark world where my phone was stuck on 4:21 p.m. I was thinking about how I would never get to see my kids or my husband again. I started crying with my head in my hands while my car was driving itself on this endless loop when out of nowhere, static came over the speakers of my car and I heard "continue" in that same deep voice behind the static, and instantly, as though someone flipped a light switch, it was light out again. There were cars on the road and I was passing exit 98. I looked down at my phone and it said 4:22 p.m. and I knew I was out of the loop. Finally! I called Mackenzie back and she swore we had only been off the phone for 30 seconds, but she could hear in my voice that I had been crying and very upset. I got home and basically kissed the ground as I got out of the car. I don't blame you. I told my husband about what happened and he giggled and said I probably dozed off at the wheel for a minute and had a bad dream. I still can't figure out why or how it happened, but I know that it did. I'm still terrified every day on my way home from work that it's going to happen again. I'm sorry that your husband invalidated your experience, but it is a valid experience and it happened to you and we believe you. That is fucking terrifying, being trapped in a loop like that. But I have to say that I feel like maybe you were stuck in that loop for a reason. Like maybe if you weren't put in this weird loop away from actual reality for a minute, maybe you would have actually gotten in a car crash and died, or something crazy would have happened. I don't know, but that's like my take on it. What do you guys think? This was a really good one. Let's read some Glitch in the Matrix stories, part 208. Keep out sign that worked too well. Hi, Auntie Matrix. Hi! I absolutely love all of your content on TikTok and thought it would be a perfect opportunity to share one of my paranormal experiences that occurred when I was around 7. It was late in the afternoon and I was having a play date with one of my friends. She had an idea to make signs to put on our bedroom doors that said, "Do not enter my room," something along the lines of that, as a way to playfully rebel against our parents. We spent a lot of time perfecting our signs despite both our mothers laughing at our efforts. My mom in particular told me not to put it up as it was tacky. 7-year-old me thought it was really keeping up with the trends, so I decided to put it on my door after my mom went to bed later that night. During the night, I woke up during my sleep only to witness a figure walking towards my door. It was extremely dark in my hallway, but the figure contrasted it starkly. It was white, had large circular bobblehead and a stick figure body. What? I was in utter shock and I distinctly remember putting my hands around my eyes to ensure that I was both awake and seeing correctly. The figure continued to my door as it grew to a halt as it saw the sign. It stood there for a good 5 to 10 seconds reading my sign. I remember being extremely confused and thinking it must have been my mother checking up on me as she didn't approve of my sign. The figure then turned its body towards me, its head with no outlines for facial features. It then looked back at the sign and me again, almost as if I blocked it from entering and therefore protecting myself. And then it sprinted out. I kid you not, it ran extremely fast into my hallway as I lay sitting upright in my bed facing my door, both stunned and confused. What about scared? Weren't you scared? In disbelief, I went back under my covers and slept straight through the rest of the night. In the morning, I awoke and headed towards my mom, who was in the kitchen making breakfast. I asked her, "Why did you come into my room last night?" She was confused and remained quiet before saying that she didn't go into my room or awake at all last night, which for context is extremely unlike her as she is a light sleeper sleeper and often awakes to head to the bathroom, etc. I told her that I saw someone come into my room last night. She was shocked and I told her what happened. There was no one else in my house last night except for me and my mom. My mother has her own share of paranormal experiences and is very open to the spiritual plane. She said that it was probably a ghost of some sort and my sign perhaps stopped the entity from entering my bedroom as a precaution. At the time, I wasn't too convinced. However, I look back upon that day, I think that I was supposed to make that sign for a reason. The entity 100% wanted to come into my room, and I'm so ever grateful that I stopped any malicious events from occurring. That is exactly what I was going to say, is I think that you were like compelled to make this sign because you were supposed to make this sign because someone was helping to protect you from some entity. I do want to say though that the way that you're describing this entity is very different from the normal things that I'm hearing. I have never heard someone talk about something with a large circular head and a stick body and white. Normally when people are talking about entities and spirits that are coming in their room, they're normally shadow figures. They're normally always dark. Has anyone else heard of this kind of entity or being? I would love to know what it is. I'm very interested. Thank you for sharing. What a crazy story. The moral of the story is signs work. Words are powerful. I love you. Bye. Ma'am, that wasn't a ghost, that was an alien. So she's referring to a glitch in the Matrix story that I put up. If you click on the reply comment in the description, it'll take you to that video if you want to watch it. But basically, the gist is, this girl was really young. She was joking around making signs that say, like, you know, to stay out of her room, you know, as a joke to her parents. And so she puts up the sign, even though her mom doesn't want her to put up the sign. And that night she wakes up and she sees this entity walk towards her door, stand there, read the sign, and like look at her, look at the sign, and then like sprint away. Now, she described this entity as being tall, white, very thin, it's like stick thin, but the head was like a round, like bobblehead, but no facial features. And I thought this was really weird because I haven't heard of anything like that before. Normally when people are describing entities and spirits that come to visit them or that they see, they are normally shadow figures. So the white in general just threw me off, right? So I was looking in the comments and a lot of people were actually saying that wasn't a ghost, it was an alien. So I'm on the fence about this theory because that would make more sense for the sprinting, right? Because an entity or a ghost is a shadow figure is not going to sprint away. That's not going to happen, right? It's going to like disappear or it will move. But like sprinting to me is like running, unless they just use the wrong word in their description. Like sprinting is like running to me, and like a ghost isn't going to do that. An alien might do that, right? But the thing that's confusing about that is that as far as I know, I mean, I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, you can't just put a sign up and tell an alien to go away and they'll go away. You know what I mean? I feel like spirits and entities of that, those kind of things, like paranormal, supernatural things, maybe, they listen to that, right? They listen to your words. Your words are powerful, but I don't think you can do that with aliens. So like, I don't think the alien would like see the sign and like read it and be like, oh shit, I can't get in here. And I mean, I guess I'll just go. But again, I could be wrong. Or like maybe they were coming in, they saw the sign, they read the sign, and they were like, you know what? I don't want to scare this little girl. I think I'm going to go. Maybe it was like they're being nice. I mean, I don't know. But this is a very interesting theory, and a lot of you had this theory, and I really like that. So let me know what you guys think about this theory in the comments. Creepy, weird TikToks that you guys have tagged me in. Okay, I watched that video like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, and I was staring at different things to try to like find a break in the video or like where someone messed up when they edited it, and I can't find anything. Let me know if you see anything. But what the fuck? Where did they go? And everyone was like freaking out afterwards. That was like acting. It was very good acting. That was very good acting. I want to see like the rest of the surveillance. There has to be more, right? Like what happens after is my question. But hold on, because also the comments. First of all, thank you, M, for calling me your queen. happened to my dad when my mom gave birth to me. I know, it's so terrible, but it made me laugh so hard. That happens to my bank account on the 1st of the month. I was just looking at the comments to like see if there was anything about it being fake or debunked, and I just literally couldn't. Okay, next one. What the fuck was that? A lot of people in the comments are saying maybe it was like a guy in a green suit, holding something, but like what were they holding if they were holding something? Or maybe it was edited. I don't know. It's like so hard to tell if something's edited, but to me it looks like a little fairy or something ringing the doorbell a bunch of times. Although I think fairies are actually a lot bigger, or is that the fae? Is there a difference between like fairies and the fae? Oh my god, I don't know, you guys. Next!
I am having my first ever true glitch in the Matrix moment, and I don't know what to think about it. I would see these videos and I thought these people were just, you know, a little out there, or maybe there was like a possible explanation that they couldn't figure out, but it just happened to me. So I'm in my kitchen, I'm cleaning my kitchen, I spray down, I spray everything down, I take my black towel, I wipe, and I was like, oh, I can't get that spot. So I put my towel down, I turn around, pick up my sponge, turn back, get the spot, and then I go to grab the towel to wipe, and it's not here. And when I say it's like not here, I mean it's nowhere. I cannot find it anywhere. Okay, so like, here's my kitchen. This is where I was cleaning. This is where I grabbed the sponge. I come back and the towel is gone. And so I'm like, okay, what did I do? Did I think it was dirty? Did I put it over here? No, it's not there. I was like, okay, did I accidentally throw it away? No, don't look at my stuff, that's gross. I didn't throw it away. Look, I still have spray on the counter here where I gotta continue to spray. It's not here. It's nowhere to be found. And then I'm like, okay, did I maybe put it in my dishwasher? No, it's not here. I never left the frickin' room. I never left the kitchen. Like, this just happened right now. And I was thinking, okay, maybe in my little OCD craze of cleaning the house, maybe I came in my bedroom and I set it in here. No, it's nowhere in my bedroom. It's not in my bathroom. And this is pretty much all there is to my house. Like, let me see if I put it in my daughter's room. I never went in my daughter's room. No, of course, it's not here, because I never went in here. I don't know what to think! Where did my black towel go? It's not here! Has this ever happened to you? Am I nuts? What is going on?
Okay, so clearly some sort of weird portal or glitch or something, and the towel just like disappeared maybe into another very close timeline. But then there's also an update. She found it.
I have an update on the black towel. I still don't know what to think. You want to know where it was? Fold it up. Put right there. So, I don't know. Was it a glitch? Do I have elves? Am I just stupid? I don't know. I don't know, because I know how it happened. I was here. I had the towel. I grabbed the sponge. I turned around. I don't know. Whatever. It's back. It doesn't even belong there. That's not where it even goes. It belongs in this drawer, like right here. So, I don't know. Don't know what to think. But, oh well, it's back.
So we found the towel, but it was folded up in a cabinet that it's not supposed to go in. So she clearly didn't do that. I believe you. You didn't do that. You weren't in the middle of cleaning. You weren't in the middle of cleaning the counter, turn to get the sponge, turn back, go to grab the towel, and it's gone. And somewhere in there, you folded it up and put it in a random cabinet. I know that you didn't do that. I believe you. So now my question is 2 things, right? Maybe 1, your towel hopped into a different timeline, and then this towel came from the other timeline. Maybe you guys swapped towels. 2, you had some sort of weird time loss or memory loss, but such an insignificant amount of time, right, that you're not noticing because you weren't like looking at the clock and you wouldn't have noticed, like minutes, you know what I mean? Maybe you did finish cleaning, put the towel away, and then for some reason jumped back a few minutes, and then you were like, where's the towel? Does that make sense? I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think? That concludes our creepy compilation for today. If you enjoyed this, you might also enjoy catching me live on TikTok, where we hang out, read people's stories, and chat about them. We have an awesome community of open, loving, and accepting people where our motto is, we believe you. That community extends to Discord as well. Please come and join us in Discord. You can hang out with like-minded people, and I have an announcements channel where I announce things like when I'm going live on TikTok, when I'm posting a new YouTube video, when I'm dropping new merch. It's just a good place to be. You can get the links to my TikTok, my Discord, and everything else over at tecskavision.com, linked in the description. In the meantime, you might want to keep it going here and check out this video or this playlist.